What is up, everybody? Welcome back for week 4, final week of our series Challenge Accepted, as we talk about Jesus understands my challenges. We're kind of just wrapping up the whole month, and our story is about how Jesus is talking to his disciples and he predicts his death, and he really has this challenge of like, hey, I know what's coming. And that's got to be one of those things about being Jesus, where like, that at the end Jesus wins, God wins, but also like Jesus knows that in order for God to win, I have to endure so much pain and the sin of the world upon me while I'm dying on a cross, like all these things. So we're going to get into that, really to go back to this whole idea that like, no matter what challenges you have, Jesus has gone through something similar or worse. And so, go back to last week in the temptation. So when we're tempted, where do we go to learn how to handle temptation? Well, we should probably look at how Jesus handled temptation. So just moving forward with that idea, wrapping up the series. As I go through this with you, I just want you to know, I am going to be editing some of this and moving some things around, because as you're writing, as I'm doing these things in a coffee shop or in my office, and I'm just going like, okay, I think this will work here and this will work here. And then when like you really sit down and go, okay, now I'm gonna like explain it to somebody else, and that's where I realize things like, oh, I should have caught that. And it's really what I see the difference as being like, you can be really good at school, but like have no common sense, or vice versa. Sometimes I have those own experiences where I'm like, oh, this makes sense on paper. Like for example, the last thing in your small group would be like to pray to close it out. We're not going to put that at the end this week. It's going to go in the middle, and you're going to see why when we get there. So I just want you to know some things are going to change. So large group game, the Bozo Bucket game. If you remember the old Bozo the Clown show, I used to like get up on Sunday mornings, and that's what would be on the TV. It's just a game where there's like 6 buckets in a row. And you'll have a kid come up on stage, and they're going to try and throw a ball into the first bucket. And if they make it, they get to throw a ball into the second bucket. And if they make it, you go all the way to 6 buckets. If they make it in the 6th and final bucket, they earn a full-size, not king-size, but a full-size candy bar. We have M&M's, Snickers, and Skittles, I think. So anyway, we'll do that. I copied and pasted this. This is not the game they were supposed to play. It was supposed to play a game of like horse, but instead of spelling horse, you spelled Jesus. And I was like, well, that's going to take 17 years. So I went and copied and pasted it. And so if you look at it and you go, Trevor, it's riddled with typos. I'm seeing that now. I'll fix it later, but it wasn't me. It was the copy and paste that I stole it from, and that person did not know how to type words. So anyway, next will be the stadium chant. It's where, think about student sections at a college basketball game, and you have this side chanting and this side chanting. You're going to say the memory verse back and forth. This side's going to shout the memory verse. This side's going to shout the memory verse. Which side said it louder? Okay, this side said it louder. Let's see if you guys can say it louder. Say it again. Now you're going to try and beat them. This side. Go back and forth. Do it 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, however much time you have. Do that. Then we'll jump into our worship. Our 2 songs we've been doing all month. I had a 3rd grader this week go, we did these songs last week. I go, you've done these songs for 3 weeks, and it's going to be 4. The reason being, we really want for kids, we want them to participate and to sing and to dance. But the first week, they don't necessarily even know the words to the songs. And the second week, they are still learning it because it's only the second time I've heard it. By weeks 3 and 4, they know the words and they know most of the motions, at least what's going to be coming up. And it allows them to really just get into the worship part of worship. So the first 2 weeks, we want them to be singing and kind of watching along. Knowing they won't like dive all the way into it. But by week 4, they know the songs and they can do the motions and all those sorts of things. And so then they're less thinking about what's happening, and then they're just like participating and doing. So, and trust me, I'm around for 4 services times 4 weeks. Like I'm hearing these songs 16 times. I hate it. So just know it's for the kids, it's especially our kindergartners. It's not for you. It's not for me. It's for them. So we get into our story. Like I said, it comes from Mark 8:31 through 38. If you want to read that. Big idea, Jesus understands my challenges. And then we break into our small groups. We get into our discussion questions. How many days later did Jesus raise from the dead? Why did Jesus have to die? That's a big one for kids. Hey, we talk about Jesus dying on the cross for our sins. Why did he have to do that? That's an important one to understand. What did Jesus say a follower has to do? Oh man, so as a follower of Jesus, we don't have to die because Jesus did that for us. What do we need to do if we're going to follow Jesus? Read Mark 8:33, which is, again, part of the story. What do you think it means to have in mind the concerns of God instead of human concerns? What does it mean to care about the things that God cares about? That's a great discussion question. What do you think it means to take up your cross? When Peter found out Jesus' death was inevitable, how do you think Peter felt? Do you think it was challenging for Jesus to tell disciples about the upcoming death? So you don't have to do, and this is more of a statement for people who are new with us. I never am going hey, you need to ask and get the good answers to all of those questions. You figure out your group. Man, if you have kindergartners, some of those are going to be real tough questions. Don't worry about it. Ask the first two and then move on. And if you have fifth graders and you're having a really good conversation, keep that going. And if a kid asks a question to your question, explore that with them. So I don't want you to think this is a checklist where you go, all right, well, I asked that one, check. I asked that one, check. I want you to have a good conversation with your group. These are your prompts. These are your, hey, if you have nothing else, read this. So then you'll do a reflection, ping pong problems. You're going to provide a ping pong ball for each kid and a couple of different buckets for kids to choose from. Things like the buckets will say challenges at school, challenges at home, challenges with a friend, challenges in the world. And they're going to take your ping pong ball, each kid, and you're going to go, hey, what right now in your life is the biggest challenge you're facing? Which category would this fall into? You don't need to tell me what your biggest struggle is. You can if you want, but you don't have to. But would you say your biggest struggle is something at school? Would you say it's something with your family? Would you say it's something with a friend? Or at home, not with a family? And you're going to have kids put their ping pong balls into these buckets, and then you're going to go back to, notice how we didn't all put our ping pong balls in the same bucket, that we might face different challenges. We can all remember that no matter what we're dealing with, Jesus understands, and Jesus will help us with any challenge that comes our way. So this just goes back to, we're all different, but we all fall under this umbrella of Jesus gets it. He understands. He's been through it, or he's been through even worse, and he helps us in our struggles. So after this, you have a fun little game to play, challenge accepted or rejected. You're going to give teams challenges to do, 15-second mannequin challenge, which is where you have to hold a pose for 15 seconds. Try not to laugh challenge, where one group is trying to keep a straight face and the other group is trying to make them laugh. Make up a dance, impersonate a voice, don't blink for 20 seconds. And guys, I blink. I have the driest eyes on the planet, apparently, because I cannot do a stare contest. Say the alphabet backwards challenge, name 5 Disney princesses challenge. And so again, this is just a fun, goofy thing to do. The memory verse, 1 John 5:5. Again, the purpose of the memory verse here is that we want kids to have a chance to say it and earn candy. This is our last week with this memory verse. They shouted it back and forth earlier. Now just go, hey, if at any point from now to the end of church, if you can tell me the memory verse, you can get a piece of candy. And then finally the prayer. And this is where I said at the beginning, prayer at the end of the group makes so much sense. Hey, let's pray. All right, cool. We're all done. What we're going to do, because the challenge accepted, rejected, the mannequin challenge, don't laugh challenge, that's more goofy. We're going to put prayer after the ping pong problems response. So you're going to go discussion questions and the response, and then you're going to pray for your kids. And so you can even say hey, who wants to share the challenge they're going through right now? And then take that time, that chance, that opportunity to pray for that kid in that challenge right there. Or you can go around the circle and they can all share their challenges if you want, if they're comfortable doing that. You can ask that. Always know you can ask a question that might make a kid uncomfortable. Just don't make them be uncomfortable. Does that make sense? So if you go hey, do you want to share? And they go, no, go, great, let's move on. But I don't want you to go man, what if you're asking them how things are at home and things aren't good at home? Okay. That's okay. We can then pray for those kids. We want to know what's going on in their world. But like I said, don't force them to give you an answer. Sorry, I hit that. So you'll do your discussion question and then hey, what's going on? What are you struggling with? Let me pray for you. Now let's have some fun. And then you'll have fun, and then you'll do the memory verse and give them some candy, and then they'll have a great day. They'll go home. So we want to get that important piece of like, hey, Jesus helps you in your struggles, and I want to pray for you, and I want you to know that I'm here for you. That's your role as small group leaders, for kids to come in and trust you and go, hey, I know that when I come in and my second grade small group leader is there, that he or she is like on my team, like they are on team Trevor, and that if I'm struggling, I can talk to them about that. So that's the day, that's the week. One quick thing, I have a major announcement for you. In early March 5th is the release date of a new Disney Pixar movie called like something Raya and the Last Dragon. I don't know what it's about, honestly, but it's Disney and Pixar, which means it's going to be probably pretty good. And here is what I'm doing. I'm going to be sending out a schedule for you to sign up. I am renting out a theater, most likely for 2 showings for you. I want to bring you to a movie. The way we're going to do it is you can rent out a theater, and if you rent out all the seats, you can distance as much as you want to or need to. I want to rent out a couple theaters, and I want you and one guest is invited, and I'm going to cover that cost for you. So that we can do something fun together. And then if you want additional family members to come, it's going to be super, super cheap. So like for $3 to $5 per additional person. So like if you have 4 people in your family, 2 of you can come for free, and then the other 2 would be like $6 or $10 or whatever. I got to kind of figure out my official budget for it. But I've already said, hey, we're going to do this because I love getting to serve with you guys. But like I was talking to Maddie, she turned 21 this week, and she talked about it on Thursday night. She goes, yeah, I'm going to Coeur d'Alene with my family. And I didn't get a chance to ask her on Sunday how that went because things were so crazy that I'm running around like a chicken with my head cut off. And I said, dude, all I want to do, I texted her last night, and I was just like, or I guess 2 nights ago, I went, I didn't see you. How was your birthday? Happy birthday. I want to be able to just hang out with you guys and have fun. I want your families to have something fun to do. And I love movie theaters. So I'm going to rent out some theaters. You guys are going to sign up. If you don't want to go see that movie, that's okay. Don't come to the movie. It's totally good. But I want to come and hang out. I want to have some fun with you guys, and it's going to be a great time. It's going to be a party. So be on the lookout for that. I will remind you at service, and I will send you emails and all that kind of stuff. And so we'll book some theaters out. So anyway, be looking for that. But for this week, guys, Challenge Accepted, week 4. Let's have a great week with our kids. I'll see you then. Peace out.